Hey everyone, welcome to another week of the ABC Draft League. We are going up against Eevee, coach the Grande Eevees. Sorry once again that this is post-com instead of live-com. I do feel really bad. I really enjoy uploading live-coms. I feel like they're more enjoyable to watch. But the live-com I uploaded was just really not good. I was in a space that was sort of weird. I was like a physical space that was sort of weird to record in. So there were a lot of echoes. I got interrupted a lot. I was just really early in the morning. My commentary was off after I was interrupted a ton, and it was just a really bad recording. So I'm sorry I'm doing post-com once again. I feel really bad about it. But I swear to God, as long as everything goes right from now on, the rest of the ABC League games will be live com, and they will be as entertaining as I can make them, because I really enjoy being uh, someone in the ABC League. One of the few people in the ABC League. I think Ditto is the only other person who does live com, and I really find those more interesting to watch from an entertainment perspective. So we're going up against Eevee. Like I said, his team is Tapu Koko, Mega Beedrill, Slowking, Tangela, Gligar, Skarmory, Chandelure, Tyrantrum, Sneasel, Linoon, and Alolan Raichu. And his only Z captain is Tapu Koko. So it's really nice to know you only has one Z captain, not going to overprep or anything else. But the few things I noticed about his team is that it's a really good team. He has really great offensive potential in some of the fastest, best pivoters in the game in Koko and Beedrill, and even Alolan Raichu under Electric Train is really scary. And then he has a lot of mons he can piece together for bulk in the form of Slowking, Skarmory, Tangela, and Gligar. I have a feeling he'll bring 2 out of 4 of those, and it's just sort of like scary to prep for all of them because it forces me to run so many coverage moves on my mons, as you'll see. And then the rest of his team, Chandelure, Tyrantrum, Sneasel, Linoon, are honestly standalone threats, so it's really scary to prep for all of those. But I have to, and like Linoon on its own can sweep with Belly Drum, Tyrantrum after a Rock Polish or Dragon Dance can sweep on its own. Sneasel in itself is just a great physical attacker. Chandelure, same thing on the special side, amazing special wall breaker. Just like has a lot of great options on his team that he can go in, a lot of different combinations that he can bring that I've pre-prepared for all of them, the most that I can. So I'll go over my team once again. You can see the 6 mons I'm bringing down in the pink section below, but I will first go over my team in general. Garchomp, Mega Diancie, Greninja, Bronzong, Decidueye, Araquanid, Moltres, Hitmonlee, Piloswine, Electivire, and Porygon Z. Now, I'll go into my team that I actually ended up bringing, and it's sort of a shocker of a team because I'm not bringing Mega Diancie. I'm not bringing Bronzong, which are 2 mons that actually I thought had really good matchup, but I didn't want to bring them because I felt like with his bulk, such as Skarmory and such as Tangela, I didn't want to put myself in a situation where I was going to lose momentum and then lose to things like Koko and Beedrill. So I decided this week I wanted to play a lot more offensively, which is hard to do against a team that has mons like Tapu Koko and Beedrill that outspeed and knock out a lot of your team. But sort of bulky offense was the name of the game this week. Starting off with an Assault Vest Electivire, which should be able to take on almost every single form of Tapu Koko. The most damage you can do to me in a single hit is either a Z Dazzling Gleam, which does like 60, or a Nature's Madness, which does 50 from full. Volt Switch and Thunderbolt hits everything. Mostly Hidden Power Ice is just for the Gligar, and then Earthquake is for Alolan Raichu or Tapu Koko if I don't want to hit Volt Switch or Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt does about 50 to 60 to Tapu Koko and about 70% to Raichu, so it's not like I don't hit them for a lot of damage. Earthquake is just if I need that one shot in that very small potential situation. The next mon I'm bringing is Greninja. Ice Beam and Dark Pulse basically ran through the team in terms of type matchup. And then for everything else that didn't hit, which was Sneasel and his 2 fast mons in Koko and Beedrill, I had Water Shuriken for priority, and then I had U-turn to pivot out against Sneasel and honestly do like 70% to it. So really, really nice there. Not much to say about this Grande set. I just think it puts on a ton of offensive pressure. Gets me really good in the pivoting game. Really, really nice. The next mod I'm bringing is Garchomp. Um, Garchomp is a weird set. It's like a special set with Fire Blast and Hidden Power Ice. Fire Blast is literally just for Tangela, and Skarmory, Hidden Power Ice is just for Gligar. All those 3 mods will Garchomp, but thankfully the rest of his team sort of dies to an Earthquake. So I had room to put on Endure here, and Endure paired with Salac Berry allows me to revenge things like Raichu or Koko or Beedrill. If I'm low and they think that they can revenge me, I can go for an Endure, get my Salac Berry off, outspeed any of them, and then kill or force them to switch or something like that. So yeah, I thought it was a really creative, really cool set. You'll see if it pays off in the replay. The next mod I brought was Piloswine, Hump Day. Really, really basic set once again with Stealth Rock, Earthquake, Ice Shard, and Ice Crash. Really interesting set here in terms of EVs because I decided not to outspeed Tangelo, which is a huge risk, but I had to go for it because I needed the bulk in the attack. The rest of it's pretty vanilla. It's just Earthquake, Ice Shard, Ice Crash. Priority here is really, really nice in terms of Ice Shard, especially if a Tyrantrum starts setting up, or if Beedrill's low enough, or if Koko's low enough, or if Raichu's low enough. Ice Shard actually does a ton of damage to all of them. And then Stealth Rocks are so crucial to get certain rolls in this game, and get Beedrill chipped down to come in range of priority, or to get Sneasel chip down for my Decidueye, as you can see, as you will see, to beat that mon. And then the next mon I'm bringing is Moltres. It's Flame Body. It has a 50% chance to get 2-hit KO'd by a Beedrill's Poison Jab, but also there's a chance for Flame Body. And Flame Body is really useful here. It helps me counter both Sneasel and Beedrill. And then U-Turn just allows me to bait in Slowking, U-Turn, and then get immediate momentum into either Greninja or Decidueye, which is really, really useful. And then Hurricane is just for regular damage. I have the Flying EMZ to get the nuke off, and then I have Flamethrower for that damage if needed. So yeah, I'm good with this. I'm good with the set. It was kind of difficult because I could have made it a lot more bulky, but I needed to make it 104 timid in order to outspeed Tyrantrum. I did not want to get outsped by Tyrantrum. It just wasn't something I was good for, so I had to take out a lot of bulk on my Moltres. So, oh well. The last mon is Decidueye. It's holding a spell tag, and it's the biggest risk mon I'm bringing here because it gets 100% walled by a Linoon. But I thought to myself, if Shadow Seek and Spirit Shackle are all the coverage I need against this team, aside from Linoon, is it really worth taking off Roost in order to put on something like Leaf Blade? And the answer to that, in my mind, was no. And even though, you know, it would be nice, Roost allows me to actually wall Tapu Koko, which is an absurd thing to say, but I literally wall Tapu Koko if I have Roost, which is absurd, assuming no Calm Mind. But if he's Calm Mind, I should be able to beat it with Sword Stance, Spirit Shackle. So Decidueye actually walls Tapu Koko, which is super weird. But Roost is there for that reason. I figured Tapu Koko was a bigger risk than Linoon. If he brought Linoon, this team had a lot of problems, and I recognized that, but I also had a lot of forms of priority, a lot of ways to hit it hard, and a Endure Rough Skin mon to help out with it, a Piloswine, which didn't get one-shotted unless it had Seed Bomb, a Moltres that didn't get one-shotted from full at +6, so I had some options there. I had a Z-move. I just feel like there wasn't anything he could set up on so effectively, which is good for me. So yeah, that's the team. I will go right into the replay. Once again, sorry this is post-com, but just going to try and make this as efficient as possible and in-depth as possible as I do in my live comms, but we will just get right into the game. I'm going to put this on slow just so I'm able to commentate a little bit more effectively. In terms of lead matchup, I guess I should have done this before hitting play. I sent out Moltres in my lead because in my mind he was either going to lead Skarmory for the hazard, seeing that I have a Moltres, he was going to lead Beedrill to get the Mega Evolution and get the momentum off right away, or he would lead Koko to get the momentum right away and get a free Volt Switch. I thought Koko was less likely than the other two because I do have 3 electric immunities on this team. So I led Moltres, but he actually led Slowking, which makes sense because he might have thought I led Garchomp or Piloswine for rocks. But it definitely was a risky lead on his part because I have 3 Mons that just hit super effectively against him in Decidueye, Greninja, and Electivire. So that was a little bit rough, but I'm going to easily be able to go for the U-turn here. It does 24%, which tells me that it actually does have some defense investment after doing a few calcs. So it was like max HP and maybe like 12 defense or something like that. So a little bit of defense there, but that's totally okay. What he has in defense, he lacks in special defense, which means Electivire and Greninja will be doing a lot more work against this Slowking. So I go right into my Greninja as he goes for a Psychic. This was no means but a prediction on my part. I was debating between either going Electivire or Greninja. I figured that Slowking couldn't hit me with anything super effectively besides Signal Beam, and I don't think he was going to go for Signal Beam against a Moltres. And honestly, I didn't want to lose the HP on Electivire that early, bearing in mind I am Assault Vest, and I really need Electivire to take hits from Raichu and Koko. So that's nice. I am then going to go for a Dark Pulse here, I think. Yeah, I'm going to go for a Dark Pulse here. I probably should have gone for a U-turn because the switch to Koko was so obvious, but I go for a Dark Pulse, and this damage is actually really useful to know that he has no defense investment whatsoever. Really nice to know. Tells me he's a lot more an offensive set on Koko, nothing like a screen set or anything like that, as I will go into Electivire, as he will go for a Dazzling Gleam, and this damage tells me he is not any sort of boosting item for Fairy-type moves, or special moves, or yeah, no boosting item for Fairy moves. It basically tells me it's either like Z-move, it could be like Magnet or Zap Plate, but it tells me it's not Specs, it tells me it's, it tells me it's not Specs, I would have seen Life Orb if it happened. It basically hints to me it's a Z-move, because I think that's the most obvious thing that it could be. Is he actually makes a weird play and goes Skarmory here. He had to go into something, unless he wanted to lose his Koko, which he did not want to do. So he sacked his Skarmory, which makes a lot of sense because Skarmory was there for things like Bronzong and Diancie, which are mons that I just did not bring. So that's totally fine. It's really fine with me because it means he does not get Rocks up, and that's huge for my Moltres. It means that Moltres is going to be in a position to be able to more effectively wall both Beedrill and most notably Sneasel. But yeah, so he goes into Raichu. I have to switch out because he is boosted by Electric Terrain, and he actually makes a really risky play here and goes for Focus Blast, probably expecting Piloswine to come out, and also to get the super effective hit on Greninja. Obviously, he's risking the miss, but it works out for him because it does land, and it does prove to be a 2-shot against my Electivire. If he had missed, Psychic would not have killed. I would have pressured him out with an Earthquake, but that's okay. Totally fine. I will just let Electivire drop here, which is actually really huge and really in his favor because it swings the match in his favor because now my offensive answer Slowking is gone, which is huge. I lose one of my, I'd say 2 offensive answers to Slowking because Greninja doesn't do that much to it. I mean, I guess it does. I don't know. I lose one of my 3 answers offensively to Slowking. I lose my defensive check to Raichu. I lose my defensive almost counter to Koko. And at 70%, Electivire was going to do a lot more with Koko, but I really had no other sack at that point in time. So, yeah, it sucks, but it's okay. I'm just going to go right into my Greninja, and now that Electric Terrain is gone, I do outspeed, and I will be able to go for a Dark Pulse, which does nothing to this Sneasel, but it does put me in a position where I can hard switch into Moltres. I considered U-turning, but I figured potential fake-out damage was a thing, as well as even a Scarf Sneasel might have happened, so I do switch out into Moltres, no Flame Body on the Sneasel, unfortunately, but he does go into Slowking. I get the very obvious U-turn off, and I can make a play into Decidueye. Now, I could have gone for Swords Dance here. Probably would have, honestly, potentially won the game, but as you can see, I go for Spirit Shackle, he goes for Psychic. I was nervous he had something like Fire Blast or Ice Beam, which would have meant I could not set up on this thing. Psychic does 32, so that's fine. But I do go for just a double Spirit Shackle, which is fine. It means I get a huge defensive mon out of the way, which is really, really nice, as he goes into Beedrill. And Beedrill here is very scary, because, as you can see in the text below, I'm being withdrawn, and all of a sudden, my best answer to Alolan Raichu, and honestly Coco, if I get Rocks up, is gone, because Spell Tag Shadow Sneak was going to kill both of those things. Now it doesn't, and I'm in a position where Coco and Raichu Alola just got so much more scarier. And it's really rough because Decidueye was so important at this endgame, and he played that perfectly. Pursuit was phenomenal, and I'm hugely behind in this game now because he has the speed going for him. I've lost my best priority mon, and it just feels like I said in the live com, I said I think I'm going to lose this one because I just I lacked the Shadow Sneak for Alolan Raichu, and I think Alolan Raichu at this point is pretty safely going to clean. But as he U-turns, he actually goes into Sneasel, as you'll see. I should also mention the Salac Berry. He got a crit there, which means... Sorry, he goes into Coco, but he got the Salac Berry because of the crit, which is a little annoying, but it's fine. It's Pokemon. I don't really care. It's Hacks. I'm fine with it. However, it means I don't get my Salac Berry, so I can't do that Endure shenanigans against all these mons that outspeed me. Obviously, Weavile is Ice Shard, but the other three mons I would be able to pop the Salac Berry against and outspeed. Unfortunate, it gets popped, so that's rough. And then he here will go for a Dazzling Gleam, I believe, or I will go for I go for an Earthquake because I outspeed because I have the Salac Berry. So I guess it didn't make a difference, actually, now that I'm looking at it, because I could have endured there and then got the Salac Berry and then outsped. So maybe it's fine, actually. I don't know. But I will... Actually, no, it wasn't fine, because I Earthquaked on that turn that he U-turned. So I do lose the Salac Berry, which is unfortunate. I do endure here, not for any other reason than just stall out the electric terrain, because Raichu is a huge threat. Had he gone into Raichu there, I would have done the same thing, and I feel like he should have gone into Raichu there, because, honestly, I endure once, and then he has 3 turns of electric terrain to just, like, do as much damage to my team as he possibly can. So, that could have been super, super scary, but it's fine. I'm glad he didn't go into Raichu. He goes into Sneasel, which gives me an opportunity to go into my Moltres. So, he goes for Ice Shard. I will happily go for a Flamethrower here. I could have Roosted, but I did not want to risk him switching on a just-in-case play into either Raichu or Beedrill. As he goes into Raichu, which is really, really scary for me. Thankfully, I do have a sack in Garchomp. As he goes for the Psychic, which is the right play. If he went for Thunderbolt, it wouldn't have mattered. He would have been able to kill the next turn anyway, so I actually think he should have gone for Thunderbolt. Then again, I could have gone into Piloswine. I have no idea. But thankfully, I can go into Greninja, preserve differential by going for U-turn here, and from here it is GG because there's nothing that Beedrill can do to take out my Piloswine. So he does go for a last-ditch effort knockoff, as I do go for Earthquake and actually just one-shot this Beedrill, which is super, super nice. So Piloswine getting the final kill. Every single mon in this game got to see some action, which is super, super cool. First time in the ABC, I've been able to use all 6 of my mons, which I really, really like. I like all my building to go to. All the time I put into it. So, super, super great game against Eevee. Probably my favorite game of the ABC so far. I feel like as the weeks go on, the games just keep getting better and better, which I'm super, super happy about. But yeah, Eevee was 2-0. I was 3-0. So this is a really good way to establish dominance in the ABC League and just like just like prove to people that I'm not to be messed with. I'm 4-0 right now. There's only one other person who is undefeated in our conference now that I've beaten Eevee Master. That is Kurt, otherwise known as Point Blank. I don't know if he goes by that anymore, but he is a great player too. I'm excited to play him down the line. Regardless, that was the game. Really, really good game. I really enjoyed it. It's unfortunate to say I didn't do as much since it was its debut game, but hey, it's okay. Um, I'm really happy with the end result. So, hope you all enjoyed. Leave a comment or whatever below. I promise the next ones will be live com. I promise, I promise, I promise. I'm sorry, just the video was awful from the one before, so I did the live com. Hopefully it was intuitive. Hopefully it was a little bit helpful. I always like live comms to be um, a little bit more helpful in terms of understanding, in terms of like knowledge behind Mons as opposed to entertainment, if that makes any sort of sense. So hopefully I achieved that. Um, but I promise the next ones will be live com because I just enjoyed that a lot better. So yeah, I will see y'all later.